One way to learn to program Arduinos, or anything else for that matter, is to look at somebody else's code. One of the nice things about the Arduino programming environment is that it comes bundled with a bunch of example code, a bunch of example sketches. A sketch is the Arduino term for a program. If I go to the Blink program, we can get a better understanding of what we did in the last video and why. Scrolling to the top of it, I see that it begins with what's called a comment. All of this gray stuff here is a comment that is not interpreted by the compiler. It's not turned into ones and zeros. It's not uploaded to the Arduino computer chip and used to control or sense anything. It's just a note that's given to that one human writes for the benefit of another human or perhaps himself. Generally, we write comments to explain how our code works, as the author of these comments did for us, or we write comments for our own benefit so that when we look at our code 6 months from now, we actually know, we remember why we did what we did. So, this first comment is what's called a multi-line comment. It begins with a slash and an asterisk, and everything that follows it is gray. Right here, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 line comment, and it ends with an asterisk slash. Anything that comes after that would be actual programming code that could be would be interpreted by the compiler, and we could do something with it. So you can tell that this isn't a comment because it's not gray. This comment tells us that this program is going to turn on the LED for 1 second, then off for a second, and it's going to do it repeatedly. The next comment down here has 2 slashes. That's how you start a single line comment. Anything that comes after this line is going to be part of the program that will be interpreted and uploaded to the computer chip and could be used for controlling motors or reading sensors or whatever. This line tells us, just reminds us that almost all Arduino boards have a LED connected to pin 13. The next line tells us that we're going to give that pin a name, so instead of referring to it as 13 throughout our code, we're going to refer to it as LED. For those of you who have had some prior programming experience, we're storing the value of 13 into this variable called LED. The next step, or the next part of this program, is the setup routine. As you can see, this comment tells us that the setup routine runs once when you press the reset button or when you provide power to the Arduino for the first time. So if I plug in my 9-volt battery, the setup routine is going to run once. If I hit the reset button, the setup routine is going to run once. After that, the loop routine runs, and the loop routine runs over and over and over again. So the setup routine will run once at the beginning, and then this will happen over and over and over again. All Arduino programs must have a setup and a loop routine. These routines can be empty. They can have nothing in them. They can do absolutely nothing, but you do need them in order for the program to compile and upload to the processor. In the setup routine, we can see that they initialize the digital pin as an output by using this command, pin mode LED output. So the pin mode is some sort of function that sets this pin 13, if we look up here, to an output. This may be a little bit hard for some of you to understand, so I'm going to introduce another way to learn about programming Arduinos, and that is to consult the reference materials. If I click on the reference, I will see information or links to information for a ton of different Arduino related operations, functions, data types, control structures, everything. At the very top I see pin mode, top right. And if I look inside this page, I can see that the pin mode, it has a syntax thing that explains what I'm supposed to do, how I'm supposed to use it. It tells me what the different modes are. If I click on input, it actually tells me more information about the kinds of things I can input in there. It actually has example code that gives me an example of what's going on, and if you look here, it's the Blink program. It also has information about other functions I might be interested in using that are related to the pin mode function. So consulting the reference is enormously helpful, and you should be doing it frequently when you're building and programming your NanoMouse. The next line of code is inside the loop routine, and it is the digital write line. In the world of microcontrollers, you can have analog or digital outputs. A digital is either on or off, where an analog can range in values anywhere between, on an Arduino, from 0 to 5 volts. So if you wanted to make something just shine as bright as it possibly can, we would use a digital write. If you wanted to make something that could dim or be, moderately bright, you would use an analog write. Here we just want to make the light come on, so we're using a digital write. And I'm telling it which pin I want to turn on, and I'm telling it that I want it to turn on. The high means on, or 5 volts, or true, or I'm setting it up so that it provides power to that pin. The next line of code here says delay for 1000. Well, what 1000 what? If I consult a reference, I'll see that the delay takes an argument in milliseconds. So 1000 milliseconds is 1 second. And then after I wait for a second, I want to write to that digital pin again, and I'm going to change its power to low. So I'm bringing the voltage down to 0 volts. And then I'm going to do that for 1000 milliseconds. That's all that's happening in the loop. By changing this delay from 1000 to 100, I make that wait, I shorten the wait, and it just goes through this loop faster. That's how I get the light to blink faster. The last thing that we need to cover is how to save programs. So I'm going to go ahead and hit File, Save As, and I'm just going to save it to my desktop as Blink Fast. When I do that, you will notice that instead of saving a file, it creates a folder, and inside that folder is the Blink Fast file. In order to access it, I would just double click and I would be up and running with my program again.